For parts 8.5 to 8.8, most small animal hospitals rely on a tabletop autoclave, such as this one. This one is made by Midmark, CM11 Ultraclave. It would be typically how an autoclave works is distilled water, which is poured in through here into a reservoir, is heated electrically, and the water turns to steam and forces air out through a port in the back of the autoclave. And this allows, once the air is gone, the pressure inside the autoclave builds until the temperature temperature and pressure is achieved to sterilize the packs or the pouches or hand pieces. You can put stuff in here unwrapped depending on what equipment it is you need. I believe once it has gone through its sterilization cycle, the machine cools down and the steam is turned back into water and goes back into the reservoir portion. According to text, typically the autoclaves work between 250 to 270 degrees to achieve sterilization at a pressure somewhere between 15 and 27 psi. I believe the text also goes on to state that the most autoclaves go through the sterilization cycle for 3 to 15 minutes. Ours will be a little different. I'll explain that when we go through the packing sequence. Let's see. And once the autoclave, I'll show you here. Typically, it's closed during its cycle of operation, but once those 3 15 minutes of sterilization have happened, the autoclave gives a little warning the doors to open. It will pop the door open. You can't actually open it any further than what it has cracked. This allows, combined with the heat, this allows a lot of the water vapor inside the autoclave to evaporate. Typically ours goes a full 30 minutes of this process, and at that point it'll give a signal and it's okay to safely open the door. Items will still be hot, but they're not as dangerous as when it first popped the door open, crack. They'll still be warm, so it's good to be careful as you're handling all of these. When packing an autoclave, there are trays in here to separate, so you don't have to stack things up on top of each other. For instance, I've already autoclaved these, but this is the pack and gown I did earlier. I will put them in the autoclave in the center of the trays. Put this tray up above it and place this pack in the center of the tray. You don't want the sides of the packs touching any of the walls. The only surface that should be touched with the pack is the bottom that sits on the tray. You can prevent sterilization, the steam from actually penetrating parts of the pack if they are pushed up against the wall far enough. And occasionally, if an instrument is actually pushed up against the wall inside the pack, we have had instances of some people have overstuffed the chamber, and the heat has passed from the side walls of the chamber and heated up the instrument enough that it has actually melted the pack material, rendering the whole pack useless. You have to clean everything again, and in that case, some forms of the paper can actually melt into what appears to be a hard plastic, and that has to be scraped and knocked off, or the instrument may just have to be thrown out entirely. Maintaining the autoclave, well, again, when you pack it, you should ensure that the water level is adequate. In this model, you can pour water, distilled water, into here, and you will have a tube here that can be used to drain water during its maintenance cycles. But as long as the water is in this green zone, you have enough water to sterilize a pack. Take these out for a moment. These trays are removable. They should not be stored on top of the unit. They can be stored on the shelf. We'll ignore these packs for now. There is a fast emergency vent back here. In the case of the vent, you need to actually vent everything. You can just pull hard on that, and that opens up the vent. That vent should be checked occasionally before each cycle as well. You need to just pull up and release, and ensure that that is ready to be used whenever you run the autoclave. Portions of the autoclave are, we will take the trays out, and along with the trays, there are the racks here with the trays slide onto. This will be taken out as well, and this will need to be cleaned with the trays. With Speed Clean, which is the cleaner that the manufacturer of this particular autoclave unit recommends. You will, with a soft washcloth, you can wipe off all the surfaces of the rackets here, the rack here, and all the trays that go into the unit. You will also use this band, the clean cycle, to pour a small amount in here and let it go through a cycle to clean inside of it. On weekly cycles, you can just this unit will actually give you a reminder that a week has passed and that it needs to be cleaned to do its weekly maintenance. All surfaces are with some Speed Clean distilled water wiped down inside. There are vents inside for the steam, for the air to pass through, and for this water to pass through. They come with little wire mesh filters. Those will be cleaned and with a soft brush to ensure that there's no particles in the little mesh material. There's one in the bottom and one against the back wall. There are copper coils in the bottom, which is the heating element that heats up the water. As long as everything is clean, this should keep the autoclave in good working order. Not only is there a weekly reminder, but every 4 weeks, instead of a weekly reminder, you get a monthly reminder to do a more intense cleaning, which involves going through a couple cycles of sterilizing the chamber empty with water and Speed Clean from Midmark. Everything will be put back in after everything is cleaned, sterilized. You will wash everything. You will not wash, but you will wipe everything down with distilled water, and then refill the tank again through here with distilled water. The little filters go back in place. The rack goes in, and there are 4 shelves that will go in place. 2 larger units that take the middle of the chamber, and 2 smaller shelves that take the bottom and top. Normally we don't have so many shelves in unless we are, in fact, doing a pouch cycle. We only fit maybe 2 or 3 packs in here at the most at a time. But if we've been doing a lot of procedures with smaller instruments and handpieces, we can put them in pouches and fit more in here than just on the 2 shelves. When we run our unit, if I was to run it pack, it's different than what the text might say. I select the cycle, I select packs, and it's going to do it at 250 minutes for a full 30 minutes. Typically it takes a half hour to bring this up to, once you close the door and press it, it'll take roughly a half hour to come up to its sterilization cycle, and then it's going to do packs at 250 degrees for 30 minutes, whereas usually the textbook, I believe, says 15 minutes is usually the max, but this model from the manufacturer recommends doing it for 30 minutes. It will then do a fast vent and then a 30-minute dry, which is roughly in line with the textbook.